Let me greet you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. May I invite Fundiswan, come and open this occasion with the prayer.
Amen, hallelujah. Ngicela sigobise nje amakhanda. Nkulunkulu namusa isento sithi Yesu Kristu. Wena Alpha, wena Omega. Mulawule emhlabeni nasezulwini. Baba silapha ekuseni nje simeme ubukho bakho nenkazimulo yakho. Siphakamisa udumo lwakho Baba ngaphakathi kwendawo. UThixo nomsana nomhawu, uThixo nenceba, Thixo othanda umoni njengelungisa. Sisondeza nangamagqala emzabalazo, abantu abanezimpi, abantu abanqobileyo, abantu abancane ubutsha babo belwela le nkululeko. Siphakamisa benqele sikelela uthamsanqele sinhlangano ubukho bethu nobukho bonke incekukazi leadership yonkana. Sithi uThixo ulawule Baba elakho igama lenhla nenceba ngegama elihle losikelelo thamsanqele sangoku naphakade. Amen. Amen.
Well, I'm not going to mention any leadership until I get the protocol from protocol officers. I don't want to be blamed that I have left one of the leaders outside. May I humbly request the car registration number FM87 TKGP to remove your car where it is. Amanza. It is indeed that day I've seen my president days. Snooki Zigalala is there to give me correction if I've managed to represent him here. You are welcome, that is Snooki Zigalala. Leadership, comrades, families of Mngomezulu, ministers. Let me start by inviting our Honorable MEC Atune on behalf of the people of Gauteng to welcome and give direction or no dikualetswe ka ntle dintsha, so that Benjamin Moloise and Mngomezulu, they are safe in good hands.
Amandla. Long live the spirit of Comrade Benjamin. Long live. Long live the spirit of Comrade Abraham. Long live. Long live the ANC. Long live. Yabo. As Jewish, so I must remember the organization. Sanbonan, Moloise, Abshin, Dumelang, Nda. Good morning. Program Director, Reverend Mapatsu, you are getting younger by the day. Your energy, you know, I feel like you are 20, now you are 21. Baruti ka ofela ba leng teng ka jeno, ra leboga dithapelo tsa lena. The Secretary General of the African National Congress, Comrade Ntate Fikile Evergreen Balula, the Honorable Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mngomezulu Kubai, both and Dr. Bushelo and Comrade Nel and Comrade Nashini. They all recognize the national leadership that is present and that I've not seen of the NEC that is present here. The leadership of council. I know the executive mayor was supposed to be the one doing that, but is going to represent us somewhere else. Is acknowledged together with the MMCs that are present. I've seen MMC Lugayeni present here, and all the councillors that I've not seen from the city of Johannesburg. The leadership of the ANC in Gauteng province, led by our deputy convener, Comrade Ntombi Mehwe, and all the leadership that is present of the African National across the province and national that is present today. More importantly, to both the families of Mngomezulu and Mngomezulu families, comrades and friends, fellow South Africans, the ground beneath our feet today speaks to us. It whispers the names of heroes who walked the streets in defiance of a tyranny that was the apartheid regime. Orlando, Soweto is indeed the crucible of resistance. It has witnessed history written in sacrifice. It is here in this hallowed township that we fulfill a sacred national duty, which is to restore dignity to those whom an unjust system sought to dishonor, even in death. Death, when wielded as a weapon of state terror, speaks volumes about the moral bankruptcy of the wielder. In 1985 and 89, the apartheid regime did not merely execute two young men, it attempted to execute hope itself. Benjamin Malisela Moloise stood before his executioners on October 18th in 1985. The apartheid missionary claimed his life for an alleged assassination of which he steadfastly denied committing. They silenced his voice, but they could not silence his truth. Even as the rope tightened around his neck, his conviction remained unbroken. The ANC maintained then, and as history now affirms, that his confession was extracted through torture, his trial a mockery of justice, his execution a calculated act of state vengeance. Abraham Zakele as well, Mngomezulu, faced the same gallows in 1989 at just 23 years of age. At the very prime of his youth, he was condemned to die, while his 4 teenage accused received sentences between 8 and 15 years. This stark miscarriage of justice revealed the apartheid's fundamental fear, not of the act for which he was convicted, but of the revolutionary consciousness he represented. The rand boycotts in Soweto embodied a community's refusal to economically sustain its own oppression. For this, the state demanded blood. The execution of Mngomezulu and Mngomezulu were not isolated acts of cruelty. They were deliberate demonstration of power meant to instill fear, to break resolve, to fracture resistance. Yet in this goal, and in so many others, the apartheid regime failed dismally. For each freedom fighter it executed, thousands more rose to continue the struggle. To the families of Comrade Benjamin and Abraham, for nearly 4 decades, you have enjoyed not only the loss of your beloved sons, but also the profound indignity of having them buried as criminals by the very same system that criminalized the pursuit for freedom. You were denied the fundamental human right to mourn with dignity, to perform traditional rituals, to honor their memory according to our cultural practices. The debt owed to you can never be fully repaid. Yet today, we take a significant step towards historical redress. The democratic South Africa, born from the sacrifices of your sons, now formally declares and recognizes that your sons, Benjamin Malisela Moloise and Abraham Zakele Mngomezulu, died not as criminals, but as freedom fighters in the righteous struggle against oppression. As the liberation movement, the ANC marks its 113th year, we are reminded that freedom was never freely given. Each right enshrined in our constitution was purchased at a tremendous cost. The military wing of the ANC, Umkhonto weSizwe, the Spear of Nation, was formed when all peaceful avenues for change had been exhausted. These freedom fighters we honor today exemplify the extraordinary price paid for democracy we now exercise and enjoy. Fellow mourners, when a state executes its citizens for political resistance, it reveals its fundamental illegitimacy. The gallows at Pretoria Central did not enforce justice. They enforced subjugation. The hangman's rope was not an instrument of law. It was an instrument of terror. By restoring these heroes to their rightful place of honor, we renounce and reject not only the specific acts of judicial murder, but the entire moral framework that permitted such atrocities. I stand before you today, not only as a member of the ANC, but a member of the Executive Council, who is a custodian of our collective memory. As the provincial authority responsible for both education and cultural affairs, I make this solemn pledge. The names of Benjamin Moloise and Abraham Mngomezulu will be inscribed in our historical record, taught in our schools, commemorated in our cultural institution. For indeed, as President Oliver Tambo astutely observed, a nation that fails to honor its heroes will soon have no heroes to honor. This reburial ceremony represents the continuation of a sacred journey that began last year in December when we received the remains of 22 liberation heroes. That work continues and shall persist until every martyr of our freedom struggle receives the dignity in death that was denied to them in life. This is our moral obligation to the past and our gift to the future. In moments of national ceremony, we sometimes risk reducing individuals to symbols, attracting their humanity into historical narrative. Yet we must remember that Benjamin Moloise wrote poetry, that Abraham Mngomezulu at 23 had dreams beyond the struggle. They were sons, brothers, friends. They loved, they hoped for a future they will never see, but assisted to create. As we prepare to escort these patriots to their final resting place in West Park, let us measure the weight of their sacrifice against our own commitment to the values for which they died. Let us ask ourselves, are we worthy inheritors of their legacy? Do we safeguard the freedom they purchased with their lives? Do we advance the vision of equality for which they gave everything? Minister Kubai, the Constitution of our Republic, with its enshrined guarantees of human dignity, equality, and freedom, represents the legal codification of their sacrifice. Yet our work remains incomplete. Economic emancipation, social justice, and true equality remain aspiration for too many of our people. The democratic dispensation we now enjoy is built upon the foundation of their sacrifice. This is the ultimate meaning of today's ceremony, not just to honor the dead, but to challenge the living. The remains of these heroes returns to Soweto, not to rest in peace, but to rest in power, to energize our continuing struggle for a society that truly reflects the values of which they died. May the spirits of Comrade Benjamin Malisela Moloise and Abraham Zakele Mngomezulu at last find eternal peace, secured in knowledge that they have returned to the embrace of a free and democratic South Africa, the South Africa for which they gave their lives. May we, the beneficiaries of their supreme sacrifice, prove worthy of the freedom they gave to us. I thank you. And Edincha Dibofile, Kaleo. Dibofile.
Thank you, Comrade Matume, for giving guarantee to the Moloise and Mngomezulu family and the entire leadership that no, they are in safe hands. And I'm proceeding now. As a program director, there are certain powers which I cannot dictate. And now I'm going to invite Tate Thapelo Mokoshane on behalf of TRC, because I can't Muslim. So we don't know or by inviting ma. So let me start by inviting Tate Thapelo Mokoshane.
Ke romilwe ho tsebisa baeti bohle ba tlile mosebetsing ona wa kajeno. Mme Comrade President of the Veterans League, Ntate Snuki Zikalala. MEC wa kwano Gauteng Sports Arts and Culture, Ntate Matume Chilwane. MMC City of Joburg, Loiso Masuku and DRC. Mohole Comrade Oupa Tolo, coordinator ya MKL VW. Le member Babang Balatelang Comrade Amanda Vilakazi, le babang ba ANC Missing Persons Task Team, John Mailani, Madeleine Fulat, Ambrose Ndlovu, Lemme Comrade Ntombi Mikwe, Deputy Convener of the ANC. Kia leboha. Thank you.
Thank you. At least we are getting there. I'm happy. The Moloise and the Mngomezulu family, this is what your son, your uncle, your child, your brother was singing in the bushes of Angola when they were saying, Azawushona Malanga. And indeed, there were those who were under the impression that we will never get their remains. But I remember what O.R. Tambo said when we were burying people in exile. Uyithetha ngesiXhosa uthi asindishiyi andinishipha sisahamba sisayofuna inkululeko. When we are done, we have achieved, sizawubuya silande. This is exactly, I don't say these people, these cadres, they died in exile, but they were groomed and trained in exile, and they were here for a mission. Ndiyazi ukuba umhlengi wami uyaphila noma umzimba wami usothakathaka. Ewe, my Lord, I'll see with my own naked eyes. Let me invite Les Limo Moko on behalf of Moloise. Sikalela la izwe la tatwa twa kaba so magaye kumsa magaye Yeah.
Long live the spirit of Benjamin Moloise, long live. Long live the spirit of Abraham Mngomezulu, long live. Long live the spirit of original O.R. Tambo, long live. Long live the spirit of Mamudi Mandela, long live. Program director, thank you. I get lots of swaga. Kerata fela ho leboha. Esteemed guests, on behalf of the family, I would just like to thank you all for gracing us with your presence today for this historic and momentous occasion. I would especially like to acknowledge the efforts made by the Department of Justice and Constitutional
Development for giving us this opportunity to bring Benjamin Moloise to his final resting place. It is such a relief to finally be able to get closure as a family, and we pray that our wounds can begin to heal, not only for us as a family, but for the country at large. Benjamin's soul will now rest in peace, and more importantly, his mother, her soul will definitely be resting in peace because she fought tooth and nail for the justice of her son. She went from pillar to post, went overseas, went everywhere looking for justice for her son. And today, wherever she is, she will be happy. The wait was worth a while. Just for the mere fact that it happened, we are grateful as a family. Today, as we accompany him to his final resting place, we view this reburial as a rebirth of Benjamin's spirit and a renewal of hope for South Africa and future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to also acknowledge the international community at large. It was not only us here in South Africa that fought for the justices of Benjamin Moloise and Mngomezulu. The international community played a major role. We received messages from Neville McNaught in London, Barry Stevenson in Jamaica, Nora Day in Ghana, and Winfred Campbell in Ireland. These are some of the people who initiated and mobilized the Justice for Benjamin Moloise campaign across the world. And to this day, they still keep in contact. It shows how much they really cared for the comrades. And it is because of them that today we have streets in Paris and we have streets in Italy that are named after Benjamin Moloise. There is a school in Reunion called the Benjamin Moloise School. And also in the Free State, there is another school. In the Free State, there's another school called Benjamin Moloise. Benjamin was not only active Mosowet. Though he was born Ko Alexander and grew up Motip Kloof. However, he was in between Tembisa and as far as Stingwater in Amanskran, where he took care of us. As we reflect on the life of Benjamin Moloise, let us not forget that before he was a comrade, he was a son, he was a father, he was a brother and an uncle who sacrificed his lives for our emancipation. He was such a wonderful human being, selfless and very caring, the kind of person you can turn to whenever you're in trouble. Well, the other thing that people do not know is that he had a black belt in karate. He tried his level best to impart that skill, but however, some of us could not catch on. He had such a reassuring demeanor about him. He was the kind of person that made you feel at ease whenever you are around him. I would just like to share a story that I remember vividly growing up. When I started school, okay. Am I audible at the back? Okay. I was just saying that I would like to share a story growing up. I vividly remember when I started school that there was not a single day that I walked to school. He would put me on his bicycle each and every day. During break, he would bring my lunch box and made sure that I ate and then came back after school to pick me up. That was all amidst his busy schedule. Little did I know how busy he was. On weekends, he would gather all the kids and take them to Pretoria Zoo. When we got to Pretoria Zoo, something didn't add up. There were these comrades that met up with him. Makas Mutau, General Soli Shoke, and Telemokorana. And they would give us a lift home as soon as we are done with the zoo. Okay, that was very nice. But the strangest thing was that after leaving the zoo, we'd pass Vonderboom police station. And every single time we hit Vonderboom police station, one of them had to be pressed. And they wanted to relieve themselves. And then the rest would get out for a quick cigarette break. All right, I thought maybe it was a coincidence, or every time we go to the zoo that happens. Well, it turns out that that smoke break, I later learned for that very same Wonderboom police station went up in smoke. Well, I'm not insinuating anything here, but I'm just saying it was a mysterious coincidence. These fond memories are a clear indication of the selfless, loving, and caring human being that he was. And today, I can feel his aura present within this room. And once again, I would like to thank you all for helping us celebrate Benjamin Moloise's life and accompany him back to his final home. You are appreciated, and I thank you.
Zulkote wese, auye zulkote, auye zulkote, ausiba zulkote, auye zulkote, ausiba cheni ba, zulkote wese, ausiba cheni. Zulkote wese, zulkote, zulkote, ausi, kote, ileba, zulkote. These were the Moloise and Mngomezulu in their camps. They were saying, detachment at once. Report. All in order, in exception of comrade who's lying sick of malaria. But it is Siva Chelina. I'll see my chilling ma. Zoom controversy. Oh, Zoom controversy. Zoom controversy. Zoom controversy. Zoom controversy. You know what? We in the camps, never utsibo ruile kai Benjamin Moloise, le Mngomezulu, until it was an international outcry. Bopala, I with Kwalisilo, ufoka Moloise, ukuthi hayi nase Free State, Benjamin Moloise isasekhona. Manje angazi Mngomezulu sizawubona. percent esiyibiza ngayo. Whether you have achieved. Sikalela. Lela. Zwele. Latatwa. Thank you. Thank you. May I want them Mngomezulu that you see honorable ministers, SGs, MCs, and the entire community members of the African National Congress are here. So this is the time they want to know about the childhood. Yomntwana wenu. So nakho wenzela sizawuvala. Mngomezulu, Jerry Mngomezulu, sondela Jerry Mngomezulu.
Sanibonani endlini. Right. Sanibonani nonke endlini. Nama comrades nabaphezulu kithi. Ngeke ngibabize ngamagama ngizothi nje sanibonani nonke ngoba into zomzabalazo mina akusazi kahle umalume. Ngiyabonga. Lo la Mshanama. Umntana kadadewethu usisi wami firstborn yasekhaya. Ngiyabonga kuni nonke la endlini nize ngapha nizosibekisa lethambo la kaMngomezulu. Ngithi phambili nonke ma comrade nabangasi comrade ngiyabonga. Amagama amaningi anginawo. Kahle nje ngizobonga. Kule madoda la besebenza nawo from first day till namhlanje. Sisebenze kakhulu la madoda lana Justice Department of Justice. Mrs. Mutibela Lithapelo Mkhosana. Ngiyabonga kakhulu kulabantu lamadoda ayesibonisa since asithatha saye ePitori sabona yonke lento eyenzeka ebese ngaba saze ufika khona nase prison besingayazi lanto ngoba umfana lo kasisi wami lo ngamgcina ngisakhumbula umuphi unyaka mari khona la kuma 80s ngimvakashele khona lapha eprison ngakhuluma naye saxoxa ngamtshela ngathi mfana mshani qina njengendoda wathi no malume ngizoqina njengendoda wabe ukumgcina kwami kodwa amalungiselelo amaningi besithi siyawazama esibesiwalandela ukuthi no sizama ukuthi simkhiphe sahluleka before kuzophuma uBaba Mandela olihlahla sathi siyazama bathi hayi amabhuna iphusha lento lena ukuthi no kuthi kufika la date kaMandela ka1990 singakwazi ukumthola wathi ngoba bathi 1989 bamnquma umfana lo kaMngomezulu lo oAbraham Ezekiel Mngomezulu umama wakhe kunini alokazi aya phansi phezulu sathi siyazama waza waya naye wakhuluma naye sathi siyazama sithi siphuma ngapha nangapha hayi kungalungi angazi mhlambe kungasinhlanhla yethu rwathi ngoba sigcine sesimluza njengoba sesimbona la sesimbona sebembekile la nakhona futhi nokuthi azangcwatshwe ukuthi wangcwatshwe laphi mina njengomalume yakhe angazi lokwazi khathe ngibone manje njengoba ngisathe ilegenge eDepartment of Justice ngithi ngibonga kakhulu kabi nabo labo mama khona bomama laba bebe sikhuphela khona le emathuneni ngalela isikhathi sifika I think okuyi4 April laba bomama babelungu ababili angisazobona nomunye weIndia labo mama laba basithatha basi explainela kahle basichazela ukuthi no njengoba sizela amathuna awomngomezulu balapha bakamoholisane balapha wathola ukuthi ke thina nabanye khona base-Eastern Cape sasu-7 abanye 2 Limpopo 3 eTranskei wathola ukuthi laba abathathu babakhipha babakhupha amathemba basibonisa amathemba wathola ukuthi uMloyisane noMngomezulu na sazi nomuntu omanye kwathiwa mabahomba phansi bathi kunamanzi asikwazi ukubamthola bacela ukuthi sime another 2 weeks njengoba simele ki 2 weeks hayi emele 2 weeks watholakala ukuthi no baze basifonela basitshela ukuthi no hayi sebebahumbile bayenze kanje siyabonga kakhulu phambili sengathi ngabiliwe baqhubeka ngalempilo abayenzile sibonga futhi nakube ANC siyabonga sibonga kakhulu nesigqugquzela nisambisela yonke lento eyenzile sibonga kakhulu bese ngizobonga nangu sisi Stephanie waNkosi ngithi sisi khula ungakhokhobi lento yenzile kaMngomezulu lapha kasisi wami ngiyabonga sengathi ungayenza naphambili uqhubeke uloku uyibambile kanjalo ibambe ize mawusuze ukhathele kahle ukuthi kodwa ngiyabonga kakhulu ngoba hayi ngize ngihluleka nokukhuluma the way ungenzele isurprise lapha kasisi wami uyabona ngibonga kakhulu umndeni ngiyabonga
Siyabonga mfowethu siyabonga. Long live the black, green and gold. Long live. Long live ANC. Long live. Long live COSATU. Long live. Long live SACP. Long live. Long live Sanke. Long live. Long live Intozama Commander Mazlunge. Long live. Raw, young lion, raw. Igama lamakhosikazi Malibo. Igama lamakhosikazi Malibongwe. Wathinta abafazi. Basop. 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 Thank you. May I re-invite Tate Tapelo Mukolshalo. There are some guests ababashiwe ngaphandle. Then I'll continue after.
Ke a leboha ntate moruti re na le baeti ba bang hape ba bohlokwa bao ke tlang ho le tsebisa bona. We have additional guests also worthy to be acknowledged. From Tshwane, DRC, the Deputy General Secretary, Comrade Aaron Maluleke. From Johannesburg, REC, Renale Chris Vondo, Lemme Matsidiso Mfikwe. Ke a leboha. Thank you.
Re a leboha. I said when I started here, there are certain regulations that I cannot dwell on them. So it's going to be a surprise before our keynote address. But I don't know her credentials, but at least uhlala nami Protea not. She's one of the members at branch. That's how I know her. Now I'm going to invite the Deputy Minister of Justice, Unel, to come and introduce our keynote address. And Runel, come and introduce our keynote address.
Yalaboha Muruti.
Amen. Awethu.
Two. Comrades, I think this is a very, very special and a very solemn occasion where we come to bring justice for those who fought for justice and freedom. Mine is not to make a long speech, but to introduce to you someone who I think really does not need any introduction. Comrade Mamoluku Kubai is the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. She is politically responsible for both the Department of Justice as well as the National Prosecuting Authority, under whom the Missing Persons Unit resides, and also the TRC unit within the department. Those two units are working very, very hard to deal with the legacy of our painful past, but also at the level of the families and the loved ones of those who sacrificed so much to bring us to where we are today. She is an experienced leader in both government and the African National Congress, serving in many, many portfolios, but someone who also does not like a lot of fanfare. So with that, I invite and introduce to you the Minister of Justice, Comrade Mamoluku Kubai. Amandla.
Viva! Amanda, comrade, all right. I sympathize. All right. All right. All right. Thank you very much, Ntate Maphatso, Program Director. I take this opportunity to acknowledge my Secretary General, Amanda. Amanda. Let me first acknowledge the families of Benjamin Moloise and the family of Abraham Mngomezulu. But most importantly, I'm privileged to acknowledge my Secretary General, Comrade Fikile Mbalula, whom I grew under,
and all members, NEC members present, Comrade Shielo, Comrade Mafengi, who's our spokesperson on TM. I acknowledge the Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Comrade Andries Mel, the President of the Veterans League, Comrade Smokisi Galala, the NEC of Sports, Arts and Culture and PTT member of the ANC in Gauteng, Comrade Matume Chilwane, leadership of the ANC in the province, Comrade Ntombi, who's the deputy chair of, deputy convener of the trust team. Acknowledge REC members, Comrade Luiso, Comrade Sidimfiko, Comrade Chris Vonda, Comrade Malinoke, who's the DRS in Swane, leadership of all structures, the Women's League, the Youth League, Liberation War veterans who are here with us today. I think as I start, comrades, I want to thank the team. You know, sometimes we criticize government, we criticize officials. But the task team that has been doing this fantastic work over the years, I'm going to ask them, I know, Madeline, you've been taking pictures. I'm not so sure where you are in the hall now. If together with some of the team members, can you come forward, please? You've been doing this work, helping the families to find closure. SG, allow me just to acknowledge these comrades, these colleagues, these colleagues in the NPA, because I know lately people have been not happy with our work in some of the areas. But today we are here to bring this remains to you as the Secretary General and to the family because of this task team. They go and find the areas where these comrades are buried. Please come forward. Come this side closer to me so that they can see you. I know we are concluding this work this year. That's why I want to acknowledge you. You've been working over since 2016 and have helped many families to find closure. And on behalf of our government standing here, as your minister, I want to say thank you in front of this and in front of my Secretary General, because I know he has received many of the remains, and because of the work that you have done and your passion, not saying this is the work that does not bring you to the people, but what you have done today, you can see the families are appreciative. So thank you very much. I thought I must do that. We gathered here today for the handover and participate in the reburial of the two courageous and brave patriots, Benjamin Moloise and Mngomezulu. As a child of Soweto, Comrade SG, with the deployment that the ANC has given me, I am privileged and honored to be the one that brings these remains back home. I think if anyone it has a meaning to, it's me as a child who grew up here, who's been conscientized in this society, in this community, who today is a leader of the ANC because of this society, to have to bring these remains. And I want to thank my organization for giving me this opportunity. I am humbled, SG. We shouldn't take these things for granted, that Sama comrade is 2 million, but to be given the privilege to do this work today, I am fulfilled, but I feel very, very much humbled. And I don't think there's anything special about me, because anyone could have been given this responsibility. But I'm truly, truly to the ANC, honored and truly humbled to be doing this work today. These comrades that we are bringing their remains to you, Comrade SG, and to the family, actually, not only did the regime want to silence them, it was the apartheid regime's wish that our heroes should be forgotten for good. It is for this reason that the regime decided that after they were executed, our struggle heroes would be buried as paupers in unmarked graves. By burying them in unmarked graves, the enemy wanted to ensure that the stories of their bravery would never be told. The enemy wanted to ensure that their courageous and heroic deeds would also be buried with them, so that they could normalize oppression and racialized segregation. In their short-sightedness and their arrogance in power, the enemy of freedom were under the illusion that apartheid will last forever and that the liberation struggle will end in vain. They were wrong. It is significant that this handover ceremony is also taking place during the African Month celebration, which we are celebrating it this year under the theme Justice for Africans and People of African Descent through Reparations. Comrade Benjamin Moloise and Mngomezulu fought for justice for Africans, and today we are here not only to restore their dignity through a proper burial, but to celebrate their contributions towards the liberation of this country. Because he loved his people and was unwilling to accept racial oppression, Comrade Benjamin paid the ultimate price. Because he wanted to fight for the freedom of Black people in the country of his birth, Benjamin responded to call made by President O.R. Tambo in his statement to the people of South Africa on the 10th anniversary of Mngomezulu in 16 December 1971. In that statement, President O.R. called upon all the oppressed and exploited Black masses of the people of South Africa to unite and close against the apartheid monster, emphasizing the inevitable of the victory of the struggle for freedom. And he further said that, I quote, "We are many and the white oppressors are few. Our cause is just and a white domination condemned everywhere. The hour to talk freedom has come, and freedom means struggle against everyone, every form of injustice, against every instrument of oppression. It means struggle against the police, against the army, against police informers. It means getting yourself armed to resist the apartheid regime," unquote. By joining the ranks of People's Army Mngomezulu, Benjamin was counted amongst the brave grave diggers of the apartheid regime. And for this, the leaders of apartheid were determined to silence him. He responded to the call by President Tambo to resist the apartheid regime. And that's what led to him being executed for the crime he did not commit. In recent years, security police documents have been located that indicate that the security police obtained information that other MK members, including Jackson Nisi, had indeed assassinated Warrant Officer Philippus Selepe. Nevertheless, Comrade Benjamin Moloise was sent to the gallows for the assassination. In 1987, a 23-year-old Abraham Zakele Mngomezulu participated in the protest against rent evictions by the municipal council that erupted in Soweto. As he participated in the protest because he was disgusted by unfair rent evictions that together the other racially oppressed practices rendered Black people to a status of second-class citizen, the boycott stayed away, which defined the period where part of the call made by President O.R. for youth, women, workers, and all of the oppressed to render South Africa ungovernable. It was a series of these actions together that made it possible for all the freedom fighters to fight in our communities, but more importantly, to call for our families to be protected. As we all know the history, and we are being reminded today, on the 25th of May, 1989, Comrade Abraham Mngomezulu was sentenced to death and hanged. His execution took place just 7 months before the death penalty was suspended in 1990. As a democratic government of the people, we are determined to ensure that heroes of our people receive the recognition befitting their contribution to the liberation of Black people. The Indian Nobel laureate and poet Tagore once said that, I quote, "The one who plants trees, knowing that he will never sit in their shade, has at least started to understand the meaning of life," unquote. These comrades, by joining the liberation movement, knew that they are likely not to be able to enjoy the benefit, but make it possible for us as a society to do so. The remains of Benjamin Moloise and Mngomezulu were exhumed by the missing task team, assisted by the TRC unit in its coordination capacity. The exhumation was done in line with the Gallows Exhumation Project, which was officially launched by the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development in March 2016 by the former Minister of Justice and Correctional Services. The Gallows Exhumation Project aims to locate and recover the graves of all those political prisoners who were executed on the gallows and whose bodies remain the property of the state. These political prisoners were buried as paupers in unmarked graves in local municipal cemeteries within hours of their execution. Their families could not attend the burials, although the families knew that their loved ones had been sentenced to death and executed. The whereabouts of their bodies remained unknown to those families. Comrades, friends, and families, this project aims to recover the bodies of these hanged political prisoners and to assist families to bury them at home with dignity and in recognition of the price they paid, ultimately with their lives. The families of those who were hanged for political related offenses are also assisted in line with the regulation of exhumation, reburial, or symbolic burial of deceased victims. Comrade SG, by the 31st of March 2025, the project has achieved the following. When the project was started, there were 180 remains to be recovered, including missing persons, gallows, and other cases. We have successfully, under this project, conducted 11 spiritual repatriations and symbolic burials. Out of the 83 remains for exhumation, we have already exhumed 77 remains. 74 of the remains have been already handed over to their families for reburial. And again, we've been able to, in this breakdown of 74, it's 56 remains were handed over in the Eastern Cape, 3 in the Western Cape, 5 in Gauteng, 9 in KwaZulu-Natal, and 1 in Northwest Province. With the recovery of the remains of Comrade Benjamin Moloise and Comrade Abraham, the gallows exhumation project is almost complete, and we are committed to complete it this year and hand over the remaining 6 the remains of the 6 comrades to the families, or war veterans to the families. This work to restore the dignity of the victims, as people have been saying it sometimes, Comrade SG, while I'm your deployee and deployee of the ANC, I think sometimes ANC is accused wrongly to say they haven't done much. And we are giving this account here today in front of you of what has been done over the years, not only under my leadership as the minister, but the previous comrades who have been deployed in this project, in this department. We have already started to restore the dignity of the victims of apartheid as part of wider work we are doing on repatriation and bringing justice and closure to the families that have suffered a loss of their loved ones during apartheid. We've been able to support the families, 30,000 once off. These were 21,676 victims that were given. This was amounted to 500 million as part of the people who were on the list, listing at TRC, as approved by Parliament. On the education front, TRC identified victims, their relatives, and dependents. And for this work, in terms of basic education, that commenced in 2014. It has been implemented in 7 years, and the regulation came in terms of 2022, but will run again for 13 years, and a total of 11,783 students were funded to close to 135 million. These are victims of apartheid, their dependents being supported. On higher education bursaries, 130 million has been spent by this government to support those children. We have just signed off the regulations for the housing assistant repatriation project, which will be done starting from this financial year. These are houses that were bombed by apartheid government, whose families in terms of TRC have said that we must rebuild those family houses, and this will be done during this financial year. We'll start this financial year to continue. Again, we have agreed with communities that have been identified and affected, and we're starting with first 18 community projects that will be in the identified communities. The work has started, for example, in the Eastern Cape. We have concluded with the communities in those areas where we've agreed with the projects, and those projects will be 18 across as part of legacy, so that the children, the younger people who are coming after us can know the legacy of this, they can know the history of this country, and know what has been done to the people in the townships. And also to say, as part of healing, let's understand where we come from so that we can move forward. With respect to pursuit of justice, since 2021 September, TRC Commission matters have been prioritized with the creation of separate TRC component in the NPA and the Directorate for Priority Crimes and Investigation, as you know it as DPCI, to drive progress on all TRC matters under investigation. We can safely report that 104 new investigations stemming from TRC work has been reopened since 2021. There are currently a total of 126 cases that are under investigation. These are cases that related to TRC matters. Since September 2021, the original findings of 5 inquests have been overturned, with multiple inquests and reopened inquests set to commence in 2025. And this includes, not limited to, the Griffiths Mtleke that you have seen started in KZN together with the President, Chief Albert Lutuli, the Mr. Boy Manji case that has been opened. In June, the Kalata 4 inquest commences in the Eastern Cape. There are 6 matters on the criminal court roll, which are either partly heard or set to commence with evidence shortly. And we are confident of success in those cases because they are now enrolled, and there is a case for people to answer before the court, as we report. The first conviction post-September 2021 was also secured in 2023, where the accused was sentenced to 10 years. Direct imprisonment. So it's not correct when they say that under the leadership and ANC government since 1994, nothing has been done to actually ensure that those who perpetrated apartheid and those who are perpetrators of apartheid actually face justice. And we can report in this work, and we know that it's work that is proceeding and will continue to do so. We stand here proudly to say, Comrade Benjamin and Comrade Abraham's lives were not taken in vain. Their blood and unbreakable spirit formed part of the spear that dealt the death blow to apartheid regime. Their contribution to the struggle formed part of the foundation of the democracy that we enjoy today. Our constitutional democracy is governed by the Constitution, which contains, amongst others, the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights provides for the rights which both Benjamin and Comrade Abraham were both denied. This includes the rights such as equality before the law, and that everyone has the right to peacefully and unarmed to assemble, to demonstrate, to picket, and to present petitions. The most important of these rights, comrades and members of the community and families, is everybody has the right to life. The right to life is enshrined in Section 11 of the South African Constitution, that is guaranteeing everyone the fundamental right to exist. The right is paramount, and it is the foundation of the enjoyment of the other rights. It is for this reason that we cannot and must not embrace death penalty. I know some people are not happy with this when we say it, especially those who are saying we must bring back death penalty for GBVF. But the issue is that we're sitting with cases where innocent people were sentenced and hanged and killed, even for the crimes that did not commit. And that's why As part of the Bill of Rights, we cannot support, as a democratic government and a democratic country, support actually the work that say, or the notion that says we must bring back death penalty. To safeguard our democracy, we all have to exercise eternal vigilance. I believe that had Comrade Benjamin and Comrade Abraham lived, this is what they would have wanted us to do, to display the same bravery and courage in defending our democracy as they display in fighting our freedom, and indeed our struggle displayed bravery to their last breath. Despite the torture and torment of his captors in death row, Comrade Benjamin Moloise remained strong to the end. His final words were, I quote, "The storm of oppression will be followed by the rain of my blood. I am proud to give my life, my one solitary life," unquote. Because of the heroic and courageous deeds of Comrade Benjamin and Comrade Abraham and many others, we proudly stand here today to reaffirm the words of our icon, Tata Nelson Mandela, when he said, "Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by the other," unquote. I would like at this moment to call the team to come forward so that we can officially, Comrade SG, hand over the remains to the family and to yourself as the representative of the ANC as part of government sent by President Ramaphosa. This is the work that we commit, Comrade SG, to say that we will continue to conclude the work that is remaining, and we are honored and proud today to be handing over this and assisting the two families to find closure and be able to point where the graves of their loved ones are, which many are still waiting for us to be able to do that. Thank you very much. Can I request the team to come forward? Thank you very much. That's where we conclude on behalf of the government of the Republic of South Africa, led by President Cyril Ramaphosa, handing over the remains of the two comrades to the families, as they've previously been the properties of the state. They now officially are the properties of their families, and the remains are in the hands of the families. Thank you very much, Program Director.
I think, order. I don't want to be subjected to. Amandla! Amandla! Thank you, comrades, thank you. With a permission to my SG and the Deputy Minister, I think justice won't be done, because I've just been told that there's somebody who shared the death row with these people. So I'm just humbling a request through you. Jabu Masina, may you come forward. Who happen also to be relative of Mngomezulu.
Ngiyanibingelela nonke. Mina igama lami uJabu Masina, an ex death row prisoner. I was sentenced to death, but fortunately, the release of Mandela made it possible to see me now as a dead man walking. Hence, there was this moratorium to the death penalty. Mngomezulu, I'm more related to them because of the clan name. As a Masina, Mngomezulu are also there. Mausho itagazelo zagamasina. So this man, Mngomezulu, was a very brave man. When we met there at death row, he told me that he's not a sheep. He's not going to die like a sheep. Keep him quiet. He wants to fight. I said, but Pisa, I used to call him Pisa. Pisa, but that won't help you. Justice has got to be seen, to be done. whether you like it or not, whether you fight or you don't fight. More especially, you should not fight because you are giving your enemy a clean face to hurt you. So just go there, and he said, no, I'm not a sheep, I'm gonna fight. And this man fought, really. But at the end of the day, they hanged him. So it was a very sad day. Really. Benjamin Moloise, yeah, truly speaking, I don't know him, but I believe that he died for something he didn't do. I was a commander of an icing unit. So I gave instruction to a certain comrade known as Justice Mnisi to eliminate a certain policeman who was known as Selepe. Jackson did that, and he came back to report to me, of which I gave report to Comrade Soli. So that was that, and then all of a sudden we heard that Benjamin Moloise was going to hang for Selepe, which was very tragic. And I wanted to come and say, guys, look, this is the wrong man. A person who did that is this one. But you cannot do that. That time you cannot do that because you know apartheid. Apartheid system was a system which functions on its way. So I saw saying, I mean, these two comrades, they were very brave because he never cried, nobody cried. I don't remember any comrade crying when he's sentenced to death. They died and believing that whatever they were doing the right thing. So I just wanted to set the record straight about Moloise. Really, I know the person who assassinated Selepe. So I thank you.
Oh, the truth is told today. We are now, I think if I'm not saying inviting this glorious organization, MKLWV, under the representative of my provincial secretary, Comrade Opa, you are invited.
Amandla, all power. Viva esse, viva. Viva esse, viva. Viva Unislit, viva. Viva Unislit, viva. Viva Young Lions, viva. Viva YouTube, viva. Viva MKLW, viva. Viva Veterans League, viva. Amandla. Thanks, Program Director, Commander Napasi. Yesterday evening, I was asked by our national convener, Comrade Den Hato, to come and speak on his behalf, but also send his apology that today he will not be with us. There's a workshop taking place in Ekurhuleni. I would like to send my salutations to the SG, Comrade Fikile Mvalula,
the MEC members that are here, Comrade Mahlengu, Comrade Bushier, Dr. Bushielo, Comrade Mamoloko, Comrade Nel. But I also want to send my salutations to Comrade Snooki Zigalala, the Veterans League President. Send salutations to the ANC in the province, Comrade Ntombi, and the PTT members who might be here. The regional leadership that is here, Comrade Loiso, Comrade Sidi, Comrade Chris, and all others that I may not have seen. But also send salutations to the Gauteng MK LWV PIC members that are here, Comrade Judy, Comrade Amanda, and also send salutations to the regional structure of MKLWV in Johannesburg and the zonal leadership. I am deeply honored to have witnessed this event, but also stand before you to honor these heroes of our struggle in honor of their sacrifice, dedication, and commitment to the freedom of our people in South Africa. This reburial break the silence of the manner in which they were buried. Today marks a day in which we give them honor, but also give them a heroic send off, because this system tried to bury them in silence. Today, their families are witnessed by saying that they did not know where they are buried. For all these years, none of us knew where they were buried. So I want to take my colleagues, Ambrose, Strike, but also thank Madeline for the good work that they are doing. Many of our comrades would have died in silence and became soldiers who died in perish unknown, buried in shallow graves. Many are not united with their families. So I want to thank you for the work that you do. Commander Chabi, with perspective to the incident that happened, which led to these two, to the Comrade to Comrade Benjamin Moloise's execution in the gallows. Today we now know through what you have put before us, why Comrade Moloise was buried and hanged in the manner he was hanged. I'm told Slepe Moloise wrote a poem, and this poem reads as thus, I open quote, even the helmet cannot hang my soul, for I have passed through fire and found the sun. And when the rope is tied upon my throat, the struggle shall be deeper through my death. I close quote. And these are the words of many of those that have been hung through the gallows. Many are not told, but today we are able to tell and witness the story of Benjamin Mngomezulu and Abraham Mngomezulu. And quite coincidental, Commander John Masina, that you are a family in the Mngomezulu family. It just tells us that many families in this country produce many heroes who remain silent in the shadows, but their participation is recognized. We would remember that Tambo in the January 8th statement in 1986 would read a statement and recognize the outstanding contributions, including what the international community would find as an international outcry against the murder of Benjamin Moloise by the regime of apartheid and the death squads through gallows. But we also remember the many of our heroes who were held through the gallows and silent, and hopefully that the team that continues to do the work to find their graves do that, so that we also equally give them a befitting send-off so that they don't die in silence. We are able to celebrate them. We want to thank the Department of Justice for especially ensuring that we are able to celebrate and give honor and prestige to this comrade for the commitment, sacrifice, and their commitment to freedom and justice. The apartheid state thought that they will silence Benjamin Moloise, Mngomezulu, and many others. It, however, mobilized many of us as young people to serve the ranks of MK and become soldiers who would fight for freedom. Many of you are in this cause and celebrating this event because of their sacrifice and because of their dedication. We want to send a special dedication to the team that put up this burial for ensuring that this event become a success. Comrade Judy, Comrade Amanda, and many others from the team that is led by Mr. Mukushani and the minister and the ministry itself. But we want to encourage the zone where these comrades come from to ensure that a book is written in their honor so that we capture and memorialize their participation in the freedom that we enjoy today. I thank you. Amandla.
Oh, two. I don't want to be, kusaphethe mina. Phethe mina. I-order. Uzawudubula le, uyolala ejele. Ubaliwe namhlanje. So I'm warning you, guys, it's a pity the night shooters, Comrade SG, they're outside there. So I'm talking to innocent people here. So may I say, pass the message to those. Well, it used to be normal shooting when we bid farewell to our comrades. But now it is fashionable now. It's not a genuine shooting. So may I humbly invite my deputy minister to introduce our SG.
Ke a leboga Program Director Reverend Maphatso. E re ke thome ke dumediše ba halapa la ga Moloise le ba halapa la Mngomezulu. Re a le lotšha ka moka le batho ka moka ba batlileng mo. Mmereko wa ka ko mo easy ke go introduce one of our own, our leader in the African National Congress, the one and only Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Fikile Mbalula, to come and address us on behalf of the ANC. Comrade.
Comrade Kerila. Attention. Comrade Kerila, may I don't want to violate your protocol once the SG is talking because of media coverage. May I humbly request that the others who are this side, on the other side, to give that overview to the media.
Amandla. Viva ANC, viva. Viva ANC, viva. Viva COSATU, viva. Viva Communist Party, viva. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Benjamin Moloise, long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Mngomezulu, long live. Amandla. Thank you very much, Program Director. Reverend Mapatswe. Reverend Mapatswe also is a former Umkhonto weSizwe. Moloise and Mngomezulu families, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Comrade Mamluk Kubai, Comrade Matume on behalf of the provincial government, Gauteng PTT coordinator, not coordinator, deputy convener, convener of the MK Liberation War Veterans in absentia, members of the Gauteng Provincial Task Team, representatives of the Alliance, comrades and compatriots, members of the media, comrades, we have come here to celebrate a life, and some of you have not been paying attention. You are making noise even when a speaker was explaining to you what happened. Niyangola. To all of us, this is history before us. These families are here. We have been taught about the life and times of these comrades. Niyangola, you making noise. This is not how an ANC member or an ANC supporter must conduct themselves. Oliver Tambo says we must distinguish a revolutionary from a criminal, a tsotsi, and a vigilante. Of these families, lama comrade of these families, lama comrade agqoke i-camouflage, abanye bayigqoka nje bedlala ngayo eParliament. Le camouflage yayigqokwa kuliwe. Let's know what to do, when, and what. This is not a picnic. It's an important occasion. Today, comrades, we pay our respects to the mortal remains of our revolutionary combatants. Comrade Benjamin Moloise and Comrade Abraham Mngomezulu. As we accompany them to their final resting place, we close a painful chapter as a result of the apartheid state refusal to hand over their remains, to allow their families to bury them. You get hanged for wrong reasons, for the crime you did not commit, but they still hang your family and not hand over your remains to your families. This is what these comrades went through. This is what their families went through. Somebody who was not born will say there is nothing to celebrate or to remember. But know, as you walk here in Orlando, here in Soweto, and everywhere else where we are privileged to be at as councillors,
as MMCs, as ministers, as whatever position you occupy, freedom was not free. And wherever you are, it must be your resolve to remember these comrades, what they fought for. Wake wambona umuntu who doesn't claim for mercy, dikoleleni, but been brave and face the gallows and say, kill me, but my soul and my blood will nourish the tree of liberty. Solomon Mahlangu, Benjamin Moloise, Mngomezulu, Andrew Zondo. Andrew Zondo, Emanzimtoti, said, I want back border to save my life. I want back border to save my life. He died. He was killed. And everybody else can talk and say whatever that they want. Everything was better under apartheid. What was better under apartheid? Apartheid was evil. It was a sin. It had to be defeated. And people fought hard for us to be where we are today. In my school, if I were to strike a personal note in Botswana, and I was telling the family ya Moloise today, 1986, we named our school in the Free State, Benjamin Moloise High School. After the Boers hanged him in 1985. Benjamin Moloise multiplied 1,000 times. Solomon Mahlangu did. Andrew Zondo did. Mngomezulu did. To deliver freedom in our lifetime. And that's what has happened in this country. Today, the ANC is in power to continue with the liberation of our people. Namhlanje siphethe under 40%. And we must come back. Because the work that we must do is not over. The liberation of our people. Oliver Tambo said, wait for liberation. It will be more difficult than the time of fighting for freedom. Because the people will ask everything from you, and you will be enticed with what we call sins of incumbency. By incumbency, status to be in power. We fight among ourselves over non-issues today. We fight over who must be a leader, who must not be a leader. Abantu bakuthi abafuni lo ukuthi bafuna impumelelo yokuguqula impilo zabo sizenze ngcono in the name of Moloise and in the name of Mngomezulu. Not to fight over positions. Siyajika jika nithetha nge-positions. When be a position when the ANC is out of power, we will defend our people. We will defend them. And history, comrades, demand of us to succeed. Asina choice. Masiqale sijonge thina before sijonga abanye. Uchaba lenza into lenzayo ngoba uchaba luchaba. Masikhusele inkululeko yethu ngoba le nkululeko ibingekho lula. Uyazi xa ngihleli phansi ndibona abantwana baka Benjamin nabantwana baka Abraham Sibanikeza this symbols here. They are old today, but I hope they understand today that everything else was not in vain. And as we stand here today to remember them, they must know that freedom was not in vain. The struggle for freedom was not in vain. It was a solitary, painful, and voluntary act. It was a painful, voluntary, and singularly an act to fight. Bayacula amagerilla bathi sashiya abazali emakhaya saya kwamanye amazwe siyolwela inkululeko. It was a solitary thing. Ibinganasichomi lento besikuyo. It didn't have friends. The only friends it had were your comrades. Today we are many, but then we were not. Soweto was rendered ungovernable not by 1,000 people, but a few. As much as people took to the streets in 1976, but few people were responsible for that act. We can single them out, Tsietsi Mashinini, and so on and so on. Today we are blessed, we are many. And that this being many comrades must not multiply to be an act of curse. Sifunge sifuna ubuyele emva ekulweleni inkululeko when we're few. Because then we could see commitment was not judged on the basis of phrase mongering and praises. It was judged on your own commitment, whether you can face the enemy. And many comrades faced the enemy many times. And others went to exile. Others were in the underground. Others died in the hands of the enemy. And they were not even given a dignified funeral. And their parents didn't even know where they are buried. Their families and their children didn't know where they are buried. That is the price we paid for freedom, to liberate our people. We were not supposed to live here in Soweto and others live in Sandton. They designed it in such a way that we as black people, we are pushed to the doldrums. Sizohlala up in small yards. And we didn't have dignity. Soweto, by definition, was called southwestern townships, where black people were dumped. And bona bazenzela indawo zabo with big yards. Apho bahlala khona. Abelungu, not to Andresnel. Abelungu bebephethe. Umuntu omnyama today athi andazi ANC yenze ntoni. Umuntu othetha loo nto akayazi nyani. Akayazi siphuma kuphi. Kulapha siphuma khona. Yes, a few of us missteps, but even then, we must not be apologetic in dealing with missteps. We must be decisive. Corruption is corruption. Ukonyuluka ikurambo emzabazweni untshontsha imali yabantu kurambo. Kufuneka kucingelwe. That's why today the Liberation Movement, the African National Congress says, okay, okay. Stand on your own. Step aside. Because the ANC did not send people to steal. It sent people to serve the people. Doesn't matter. And they must face the consequences. The ANC delay. The ANC zio umahluko phakathi ko donakele, and at the same time what is wrong. That is the African National Congress we lead. Comrades, bonke bazawujonga i-weaknesses zethu because it's a pet. We must not be worried about that. We must be worried about, are we doing the right thing? Don't be worried about what others say about us. We are in charge. Be worried about, are we doing the right thing? This is what Lenin says to a general in the Soviet Union who asked Lenin, I want to support the Communist Party, the general from the Tsar regime. What should I do to support you? Lenin says, every time you look at the enemy and it is frowning upon you when you do your work, you must know you are doing the right thing and you are supporting us in the right direction. But every time you look at the enemy and it is smiling, you must know you are not supporting us, but you are bringing us down. And I'm saying to you, comrades, every time you look at the enemy and your opponents, because there is a difference between the enemy and the opponent. That is what the foundational course will teach you when you go to your branch. There is a difference between the enemy and the opponent. Every time you look at them, because today you might not see your enemy with your naked eye. It is not like apartheid. The enemy today, you see it through the eyes even of the media. Uve umuntu ethetha into umqonde ukuthi no luchaba eli lithetha apha. I say your media le. Uyiva entethweni yakhe ukuthi luchaba. Your opponent is somebody you see every day you are with in the council chambers, in the legislatures, everywhere else. That person is your opponent. Every time you look at your opponent and you hear the voices of your enemy, that it is perturbed about what you do, you must know you are on the right track. But when the enemy praises everything you do, you must know you are going down. When Ramaphosa, our president, signs the Bella Act, signs the NHI, signs the expropriation, and then says no to the banishment of employment equity, and you look at the opponent, and you look at the enemy, and you see them making noise, you must know you are on the right track. And this is what is happening right now in this country of ours with 40%. Kutiwa izitha zethu uchaba ngesixhosa, our enemy ngesingesi, ayivuyeli tu lento siyenzayo yoguqula impilo zabantu bakuthi ngomthetho. It is because we can never betray where we come from. We can never betray Solomon Mahlangu. We can never betray Benjamin Moloise. We can never betray Mngomezulu. We can never betray Andrew Zondo. For they sacrificed with their lives. Bashiya abantwana bebancane. You know, today I was introduced to the family, to the families. Dibona amantombazana ngosisi kum dithi tyhini lamadoda asebenzile. Nani funeka nisebenze ma comrade. But nisebenza kamandi nina nikhululekile nikhululwe ngobani nangela madoda. Because in my mind I thought they don't have children. But here are the children. Here is the family. and we honor their souls today. And the best way to honor their souls and this gift of life from these families is to be truthful to the revolution, is to be truthful to what they stood for, is to be truthful to what needs to be done to change the lives of the people for the better. Our economy is not doing well to create more jobs for the people. Siyalwa eParliament silwa ngeVAT. Sirhoxisile la VAT. Silwa eParliament ngeVAT, but into besithetha ngayo yintoni? Sithe noba iVAT iyafakwa, iVAT mayibe zero rated. Intoni zero rated? Kukuthi into engumcelimngeni ebalulekileyo emphefumulweni nasempilweni zabantu bakuthi mayingafakwa iVAT. Xa uyothenga pha mayibe sezingeni eliphansi. Into efuneka ifakelwe iVAT yi-ice cream. Ngoba umuntu otya i-ice cream uphila kamandi, iduru laa nto. So abantu bayakhala ke bathi hayi nayo saniyifaka, asiyifakanga. Sibuyela umva. Into esilwa ngayo sithi kuyo yonke into asizuyincama into yokuthi kule budget amatitshere makaqashwe, abantu abasebenza ezibhedlele mabaqashwe, abantu abafumana inkamnkam mabaqhubeke beyifumana ngoba abasebenzi. Yiloo nto siyithethayo, asijiki kuloo nto. Abanye bathi kwaloo nto cut. Sizawafumana uphi amatitshere azawufundisa abantwana bethu? Aba bantu xa uya ezibhedlele uma equeuini, xa uya phaa eHome Affairs, uma equeuini kujika ilanga umyele i-ID. Bakunyevulela aba bantu basebenza phaa baqashwe ngurhulumente. Xa nijikayo nithi yi-ANC. Simoshwa ngabantu apha abaqashwe ngurhulumente ababhatalwa imali ezingangemali. Banyevulele nina xa niya phaa eziqueuini. Sithi loo nto mayime, makulungise ukuhlala. Siyirhoxisile ke loo budget. Sizayiphinda mzala nge-21. Kodwa ndifuna unicebisa ukuthi i-ANC izawuhlala imile kule ndawo ime kuyo. La maxoki ebesithi abayifuni i-VAT increase kungakatshoni ilanga ngelanga labasebenzi bajika. Bathini? Bathi employment equity scrap. Yazi i-employment equity yintoni? Yinto yokulungisa imivuzo yabasebenzi nokuthi abasebenzi apho basebenza khona kusebenzwe ngokulingalingana. Ngobani babantu nini ndim nawo abantu abamnyama kweli lizwe? Ondlebe zikhanya ilanga. Aba bebethi abayifuni i-VAT increase. Bethetha ubuxoki ngaba baza ngaloo nto. Siyaba-opposa phaa ecourt. Siyayilwa loo nto, asivumi. Mininzi imisebenzi comrades okufuneka siyenzile. Zininzi izinto ekufuneka sizenzile. Ndifuna ukuthi xa ndizawuhlala phantsi ndibulele kakhulu kumamluko. Urhulumente wethu ukhokelwa nguRamaphosa. Xa ndikubulela sisi ndiyakubulela nje. Ngoba kuthiwa ngesingesi, don't praise the fish for swimming. You are doing the right thing. This work was started by President Thabo Mbeki. And then Cyril Ramaphosa is seeing to its completion, bringing back the remains of our fallen soldiers and our comrades and combatants. And Mamluko is overseeing that work today. To you and the department and all the officials, as the ANC, we want to thank them for the good work you are doing. And this has brought a lot of healing and closure to the families. Kwimindeni siyanibulela ngolusinika elithuba namhlanje ukuthi sibe nani. Priyalebuka siyanibulela kakhulu sibamba ngazo zibini ukuthi namhlanje nisinikeze elithuba lokuthi sibe nani. to share the history of your fallen loved ones. You could have done it on your own, but you gave us the opportunity to come here and testify. And we thank you for the words that have fallen on this podium. They have not gone on deaf ears. We have heard you. We have heard your loud and clear thank yous and thank yous, but we don't think we deserve it. The people who deserve it is the people of South Africa. Because through your loved ones, freedom has been delivered. And today, as you try to find closure, draw solace from the knowledge that your loved ones fought for something you can touch, you can feel. Even if you don't have a father today, but know that your father was a brave person. And we are privileged to have grown up, fought in the struggle, but we had families and fathers. But you did not have. Your fathers gave their life for me and all of us here to be free. And those words are not uttered by me. They speak to you today from here, from this podium. They wrote those words themselves when they were faced with the enemy. And they had a choice. And that choice was given to them. And that choice was clemency. That choice, the regime said to them, say you are sorry. They said, we will never say we are sorry for the liberation of our people. That's what they said. And they made a choice. And that is the choice we too have got to make here today. And I want to thank our veterans led by Putsnuki and all the MK former combatants. Sengathi imicimbi yamajoni wethu ingalunga ebuhulumenteni bethu esibuphetheyo. Singaphinde sive ukuthi those who fought for freedom were in the camps and were soldiers. They are still crying about benefits and benefits. Kuphethe thina manje. Imicimbi yamajoni mayilungiswe. Nditsho ndime apha ndingunobhala. Ndiphozu kwayo loo nto. Ukuthi usisi-Angie nabo upresident abanike i-responsibility yophatha imicimbi yamajoni ukuthi mayilungiswe. Phecelezi ngesingesi kuthiwa veterans zamajoni. Mayilungiswe lo mcimbi. Ndiyanibulela Maqabani kaThambo. Bekungekho lula. I went to Angola and I want all ANC branches to go to Angola and all the places that comrades were in exile. Starting from Tanzania up, you are going to be proud and you are going to shed tears to see what the comrades were in. When they were in the camps, they fought a bitter struggle and training to come back and fight inside the country. Ndikendave sisinye isibhanqa sithetha apha kwezi TV ngoba zininzi izibhanqa kwezi TV. Enye inkunkuma nje ithetha. Dayiva ithetha ithi no, those people never fought. Akayazi uthetha ngantoni. Uyathetha ukhamisa uyatyala nje. They never fought. ANC people never fought. You know, when Chris Ani's story is explained, when they cross over in Wanki and Spolilo, by the way, our president of the Youth League, Patrick Mulawa, died in the bushes of Zimbabwe, coming in the Spolilo and Wanki operation to infiltrate the country. Chris Ani was there. And Oliver Tambo bid them farewell. They were arrested, those who survived, in Botswana and sent back to Zambia. Kuliwa, impi yangamampela, face to face with the enemy. Uve umtu ati, these people didn't fight. You know, these comrades, we never targeted innocent people in our armed struggle. We dealt with installations. We dealt with installations and we bombarded them, and then it was an act of sabotage because we're sabotaging the operations of the enemy. Besingabulala abantu, amajoni wethu were not trained to kill innocent civilians, but they still called us terrorists. We were not terrorists. We were combatants, trained to fight for the liberation of our people. And there are many heroic acts we can mention, from Cape Town to Limpopo, where our soldiers fought with the enemy. One MK soldier engaged with the enemy not less than 7 hours. And at best, when they ran out of bullets, they killed themselves. They will never capture me alive. I'll rather die. Banins, you can mention. And that time they killed an enemy that came to them with all the artillery in the air and on the ground, chasing one person. That is how heroic these comrades were. And they were prepared and well prepared to fight. I want all of us in our foundational course, Putsnuki and political education, we must take our branches to see the life of our comrades in exile. It was not a honeymoon. Amaqabana kiwa malaria, abanye basweleka. I went and visited the graves in Tanzania, Solomon Mahlangu School. I went there. And then you must go in Angola. You see the camps where our comrades were. I think you'll come back in South Africa a changed person. Ngoba abanye benu aninamali yofika eAngola, qalana apha eLesotho. Niphume eLesotho. I was very encouraged one day when I saw ANC comrades sending me a message, and then they said, no, we are going to Mozambique. They were in taxis. But SG, we want to get the history of what happened. And the comrades of Frelimo told them and showed them places where comrades used to stay. Niqale nalapha eGaborone, eBotswana, ngoba izawuba kude indlela yase-Angola for nina. Nizifundise nifumane ukuthi amaqabane, how they lived there. You'll come a changed person. Sometimes even South Africans, ngoba sihlala silapha eSouth Africa, omnye umuntu ovela kwelinye ilizwe asimboni. Xa ninohamba nibona amanye amazwe, nibuye lapha kule country yenu, nizawubona ukuthi kusekanana apha. Ndifunga umama uNomalanga apha lele khona ukuthi, having traveled and seen the world, I look at my country, I became a different person. Yes, we have challenges. We've got big challenges we overcome. But I think we will appreciate sibone nomohluko between apartheid and liberation. We will see that people who were liberated long before us, where are they now and where are we Tina in less than 30 years? Ndiyagqibelisa ke ngoku mfundisi. You know, the ANC, I'm finishing now, this is my concluding part, because abanye benu nifuna ujonga iPirates xa iwinayo andizunibamba kuloo nto. Ngoba izawina iPirates today. Andizuthethelela abanye, niyabazi isimo sabo asikho mnandi. But bayathanda uzama uvuka ngathi, abazuvuka today. Kulungile kunjalo, ndifuna ukuthi xa ndigqibelisa, I'm finishing now, I'm concluding. People didn't have electricity in South Africa. Electricity was there, but for a few. Lights were only burning in the areas of Sandton. Here in the townships, nebakinyari intoka Sisutu, bareki mutu wa mona. The long flashlights. Bareki mutu wa mono. But in most cases, people lived in the dark, in the townships, in the rural areas. ANC, from 1994, when it came into power, it connected our people to electricity. In the rural areas and in our townships. That is why today, mina ngiyaba understand abantu base Protea, Mamluko na PPP kabalwayo bathi kum SG. Nina nisalwa nge-load shedding tina, we didn't have electricity here. It's dark. Because also bangena pha township bafike bathatha transform bazibulala and connect electricity illegally. But that electricity was connected by the ANC consciously, because the ANC implemented basic needs of our people program. Usputla uyayilungisa lento electricity no Ramaphosa kuhulumende, noba sometimes banosibetha ngo 6 stage 8 stage basothuse nje, but iyalunga yona and izawulunga worse in the coming years. Sine problem yamanzi, ndivuke pha kwam ndinganamanzi ekuseni namhlanje. Siyayilungisa naleyo, is part of the basic needs. But the ANC connecta abantu ngamanzi yawafaka nasesijaritini zabo. Mna xa ndikhula ndivelele emaplazini, mna ndakhulela emaplazini. Ningandiboni sendilapha eJoburg ndikhuluma ndithi ngiphume eJozi, angiphumi eJozi, ndiphume emaplazini ase-Free State. When I got into the township in 1979, big farm called Onverwacht in Botshabelo, through forced removals, our people did not have water, running water, clean water. And worse off, when water was connected, we did not have water even in our yards. But ANC, through means test policy, started first by providing free liters of water to the people, but connected people with water right in the areas where they live. In our street, bekufolelwa amanzi. Uke wasusa imbombozi andiyazi nibiza ntoni yomntu ubekubetha kubulala, because isifolele amanzi estratweni esiyi-1. I-ANC yayiphelisa loo nto leyo. Nayo namuhla uMamluko simkhuphile phayana uphethe ngoku into ezibalulekile ezimnandi zobopha abantu ku-government. Sisakha ama-RDP house. Of course, we must correct RDP house in terms of quality. But millions and millions of houses have been built by the ANC. Ndiye ndimbone mna umuntu othi hayi siphatheke kakuhle, bathi hayi akho DA izakwakhela RDP house. Ayikho. Uxelelwa ndim ndime kule podium singcwaba uBenjamin Moloise noMngomezulu, ndiyakuxelela akho DA izayenza loo nto. Uyandiva? Ndithini? Ayikho into ezayenza la i-DA. I-DA ilela amalungelo abantu abaphucukileyo. People who have already arrived. That's what they want. That's what they fought for. They fight for. Andifuna uthetha ngabo babazayo ngoba ayikho laa nto yintsomi. And andifuna uthetha ngabo because izawuphuhlakala phambi kwenu. Ngoba uyabona why ndisitsho njalo, into enobuxoki phakathi ayiphumeleli. Ifana ne-fashion. Uyabona i-fashion into ethandwa ngabantu abaninzi xa ifikayo. But with time people bathi hayi suka nisayifuni le nto. Yi-fake noba yi-fake. Ubona umuntu enxibe iLouis Vuitton xa uthi uyamjonga uhambe eChinatown. Uthi madoda kanti le nto ichip kanje. thina abantu beChina ke ngoba iChina ngabakhozi bethu pha eChina bayakuxelela bathi this is still the same my friend but it's cheaper if you look at it it's the same hayi ke ozakwethu khona omnye uminister we-ANC uke wathenga isutu nge-credit card karhulumente e-India eziyifeki wathi yeziwile izinto apha ke afaka imali karhulumente wayitya ngeesutu zefeki ithe xa kafika apha South Africa zamkhomba endleleni ngoba utye i-credit card kagovernment uthi bendinganamali into engendlela beziwenga khona phayana bendinganongasebenzisi le credit card bendicinga ndizayirefunda later so watya umsebenzi ucomrade ngothanda into eziyifake so comrades masisebenzele umbutho sisebenzele i-ANC sikhumbule apho sivela khona uyabona apha eGauteng i-ANC funeka ilunge nalapha eJohannesburg makungathwa apho siphethe khona ibe ngathi asiphathanga siphethe mos apha eJoburg akunjalo masiphathe kubonakala utata akekho apho udeployed PPP eLimpopo msapoteni utata sanomsabotage funeka niba nizifundise usapotana ningenzi lento ndibonile apha last week ndimntana uMirhwe nanku apha ndibone ninxibe i-t-shirt pha nithi no what mashatile kubani uthe umashatile akathanda ninxibe i-t-shirt apha siyaninqanda imani ngento zokukhokhela sizazixoxa ngexesha elirayithi nibiza irali apha nifake ii-t-shirt ezingacacanga sizawunitshutshisa kuloo nto sizawunileqa nimoshe i-ANC you are disrupting an organization sithi ebantwini your hope is the ANC nina nithi our last hope ngumashatile sifundisa abantu ukuthi ihope yabo i-ANC nithi nina ithemba lenu ngumashatile nizawuzifundisa nini into yohamba abantu ngoba abantu nimthemba ngomsavukela into si yekani uthemba abantu umashatile xa nifuna ube ngupresident ngelo xesha ke siyivulayo lento yobupresident monyula nibone ukuthi nizayifumana isapoti uba unayo uzawuba ngupresident we-ANC sithemba ngento zokhokhela sisengxakini sikhokhela nguRamaphosa le nto inempumelaka and usikhokhela kakuhle upresident wethu ixesha likamashatile xa lifikileyo sizawuthini simnike into yakhe anditsho so why nisimosha why nibiza izinto xa nigqibileyo ninxibe i-t-shirt sinopresident owani nina ninxibe i-t-shirt sithembele kuwe mashatile what about Cyril asimthembanga sizawunitshutshisa sizawunifaka endleleni yibambe egameni lala maqabane siyibambe ngediscipline siwubambe siwuqhuba kakuhle umbutho kaTambo kukho abantu ke abahlala phaa kwi-WhatsApp groups abacinga i-WhatsApp group yibranch i-ANC funeka iphile macomrade ibonakale ngumbutho ningahambi nincomana nabantu apha nincomana noombalula anindazi ndenza ntoni ebusuku nindincoma nje nibhizi apha comrade Mbax sasisonke i-youth league yakuncomana nam noma i-ANC siluzile 40%. Umuntu takangasebenziyo ama-comrade masimncedise simkhuphe sinikeze abanye abasebenzayo. Joburg mawuvuke i-ANC lapha kulo masipala ngisapota asebenze ngamandla sihambe siya phambili. Ningamjizithanda izithanda nityala siyizithanda. Ahluleke but sibe simsapotile sizokwazi ebantwini sithethe into evakalayo. Two, long live the spirit of Benjamin. Long live the spirit of Abraham Mngomezulu. Long live the African National Congress. Long live my party. See my party. Cocaine. Cocaine. Forward to the spirit of no surrender. Forward. Uzoyithola uhlala ikhona.